I love to surf. I love to go surfing. Pacifica is definitely a beach town. We don't have a world class beach break here, but we certainly have enough to keep somebody like me entertained. In October, it's going to be 11 years. So I started late in life, much, much later in life. I often wonder what my life would have been like if I had started when I was younger. Probably be very different from what it is now. Well, surfing definitely started to transform me pretty much from the moment I tried it. I kind of got into it sort of by accident. Actually, ironically, kind of like how I got into coaching. I had a friend that had a surfboard hanging in his rafters of his apartment, and I asked him like, "Oh, I didn't know that you know how to surf," and he said, "Yeah, do you want to go with me sometime?" And I said, "Sure." And I'd always been curious about surfing, and I've always loved being at the ocean and being at the beach, even before I was into surfing. And I always lived in the Bay Area, so going to the beach was a fairly easy thing to do. I would always go there. When I felt good, I would go to the beach to celebrate. When I felt bad, I'd go to the beach to restore. It's kind of like the go-to place. And anyway, so one day out of the blue, this friend called up and said, "Hey, I'm going to go surfing today. Do you want to come with?" And I said, "Yes." So I went. And I really have a clear memory from being in that day after it was all over, and I was in the parking lot changing out of probably a rented wetsuit. And I remember thinking, wow, this changes everything. This changes my life. I knew from that moment on that was going to be a part of my life. And it was really, really transformative. So it's not that I didn't enjoy outdoor activities before that, but I just never really embraced it in such a robust way, I guess. So, discovering that the whole surf experience and exploring the surf culture, it's really exhilarating, and it's connected to so many other things that I love now, like yoga. Surfing has a lot to do with being outdoors and appreciating the elements exactly as they are served up by Mother Nature in that moment. And there's quite a variety of what gets served up in that moment. So learning about how to be, how to take it as it comes, and roll with the punches, so to speak, or roll with the waves. And surfing isn't really an easy thing to learn. I mean, it's an easy thing to have fun at, but the learning curve can be kind of steep. So there are so many life lessons embedded in that experience. If you're willing to open yourself up to it, it's endless. Even the most accomplished surfers will tell you that there's something to learn about it every single time they get in the water, and that's one of the things I love about it. And I also love the kind of the spiritual component of it, because the ocean is a huge mystery. The ocean is right here at the edge of all the land masses, and whether it's open space or urban areas. But as soon as you step into the water, you're in a wilderness, and that's pretty extraordinary to think that there's a wilderness at the edge of San Francisco. So I love that aspect of it, and I love that there's kind of a tribe. If you meet somebody for the first time and you find out that they're a surfer too, I mean, you've got this instant sort of rapport. There's sort of a camaraderie, a simpatico between you, even though you might not have anything else in the world in common with that person. But if you both surf, gosh, you could talk to each other for days, at least if you're a dork about it like I am. And also, the other part about it that you mentioned, like the environmental piece of it, that yeah, it can be really analytical, and there's so many different variables that have to line up in order to make a good surf day, right? You have to have the right tide conditions, the right swell direction, the right wind conditions, and there's a real art to it. There's a real finesse to it. And I started surfing at a time when we have computers and Surfline, and you can just call up a surf cam and see just about any location what's happening at that moment, whether or not you want to go surfing. But I like to think about how it was for the generation before me that didn't have access to that, and it was much more of a wild west, sort of roll the dice every time. Now we can have pretty good knowledge about what it's going to be like when we get to the beach, based on computer readouts and things like that. But for the generation before me, that just wasn't part of it. So there's still a real adventure. I'm trying to think of the word. You could, a good day of surfing doesn't always mean surfing. Sometimes a good day of surfing is just like riding down the coast with your friends and stopping and looking at different spots and talking about, should we get in here, should we get in there, no, let's take a vote, I know it's going to be better down the coast if we just drive another 20 minutes, you guys, please, let's go there. Sometimes that whole thing is just fun. So through surfing, then like I said, it's connected to a lot of other outdoor. It's made me appreciate the outdoors a lot more. So I was never a big camper earlier in my life. I love camping now. I've had the very fortunate opportunity to go on a few river rafting trips. That was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life, was to take 12 days and go down the Colorado River in a raft in the Grand Canyon. That was spectacular. A really quite a profound spiritual experience, actually. And the connection of being in your body, and the connection or the experience of feeling your own physical vitality, I feel like has made me more whole, and I feel good.